It's just me yelling. He got his dick cut off.
Right. Perfect timing to have the stream start.
Right?
We're live.
Especially because there wasn't even the front half of that statement.
No.
Literally, it went live, and it was just, and he had his dick cut off.
Yeah. No, it was a great story. I'm glad I had a chance to tell it. Are we live now?
Oh, man, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
There's so many fun things to talk about. Do you have? Yeah, I'm assuming you got like at least a handful of favorites, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I mean, there's the obvious stuff, and then there's the stuff coming later, and then there's the whole conversation I want to have about new content for old games.
So I will say, normally, just based on the way that we hand off the show back and forth, I do the intro and I do the thing, and I normally I throw it to you for the first game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take host privilege for this one.
You hit it, man.
Because I want to start with the very first game.
Yeah.
And the very first game being the very first game.
Yeah, the very first game.
Right.
We're starting with this one.
We are
Oh, well.
starting with that one.
Good to know. I'll load it up.
Yep, that is a game that I have been waiting a very long time to happen. And so it's going to be a big fucking deal. Also, I want to say, I know that we're not formally recording yet. I was so mad, and I say this in air quotes, when I saw the Disco Elysium vampire game. Because I was like, but I wanted to make one of those. I didn't even know that was a thing I could make, and now that I see that it exists, I'm even madder about it.
I
Like,
would love to play like a game, Disco Elysium style game built around VTM, but it has to be the Disco Elysium part where failure is the most interesting and funniest part.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
like it has to be like, you know, you try and like be super cool vampire and go like romance someone and just fall ass first like into a
And then your
cake
dick
or
gets chopped
something.
off.
Yeah, and then your dick gets chopped off. The cake castrates you.
If you don't know what we're talking about, subscribe to our Patreon where we talked about the last episode of Tales from the Crypt, where
Yes.
you get your dick chopped off.
Yep. There were no vampires in it.
Sorry,
right.
sorry for the double.
Yeah, I know,
Pe-
John.
people fucking-
Jeez.
There's no pause button on live
Jeez.
shit on Facebook. What
Oh.
assholes?
I
Just making
know,
sure
right?
we're live. Yeah, I'm double checking right now on Twitch to make sure that we're live. If you can see us on Twitch, hopefully our audio is sounding good. I think John just checked it on his end, which is fantastic. Yeah, we're loading up here.
God, this fucking trailer for
I-
Toy Story a Million. No trailer has ever made me feel older.
Then the Toy Story
Yeah,
5
and
trailer.
you know what?
Yeah.
This isn't even half the psychic chip damage I would have taken if I had a fucking child.
Oh, God. True.
God, yeah. If I had a kid and I was watching this, I'd be like, "Oh God, we gave them tablets when they were 3 years old. What the fuck is wrong with us?
All
Might
right.
as well have been smoking in their faces their whole childhood."
All right. Now we got everything up. Everything looks good. All right. Yeah, that's how we feel about it because it's just about kids with tablets. And you have kids.
Yeah.
So, like,
Who has kids?
Abby's in the chat right now.
You know?
Oh. I was like, they're not my kids. They're my wife's kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't mean that as a sexist thing. They're literally not. They're other people's.
yeah. I had
He's
I
like,
had
I
no,
could
no
go out-
hand in any of this.
He's like, I can go out for cigarettes at any time and don't feel guilty about not coming
Yeah,
back.
I don't have. They're like, go ahead, see if I care.
So very slight spoiler for one joke in Widow's Bay is at some point you end up back in like the 1800s, and then very quickly the story is a woman goes there a little bit older in age to marry the town's mayor, and the mayor has like 5 kids, and she's pretty sure the mayor is evil. So she goes to turn him into the priest, and the priest is like, "Okay, well, we're going to get you out here. Are you ready to take your children?" And she's like, "I've known them but for 5 days. My children, I don't think so."
All right. Let's do a fucking show. Take a drink. Get your dick chopped off.
.com.
.com.
.com. Dickchoppedoff.com. All right. Everybody ready?
Ready.
Welcome, everyone, to Good Night and Good Game, your source for geek news for the weeks that were. I'm your host, James, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Hector,
Hello.
and our fantastic producer, John.
It's me.
This week on the show, we're going to talk about a bunch of things that we loved during this year's Summer Games Fest. But before we start, don't forget that you can head over to goodnight.gg. As a patron of our show, you can suggest topics for us to talk about. Also, as a patron, you get access to our off-week episodes where we talk about getting your dick chopped off.
Getting your dick chopped off.
We're now into season 2 of our Tales from the Crypt watch and recap, and it's only $1 to join our Patreon. And Tales from the Crypt's on Shudder right now, y'all. It's a cheap subscription. Between Shudder and a subscription to Goodnight and Good Game, it's about like $8 to $10.
Yeah. That's like, you don't need any other entertainment. If I'm being
that's
honest.
all the entertainment value.
Yeah,
you
it's just
absolutely need.
us and Shudder. And honestly, since we spend a bunch of our time talking about Shudder.
Please sponsor us, Shudder.
Please sponsor us, yeah, Shudder. Yeah, exactly that.
If you're not able to join our Patreon, you can always help us by liking or sharing our episodes. Just letting somebody else know about our little podcast would mean the world to
Two
us.
and two people take 2 minutes to write a little review and stars on whatever service you're accessing on, and tell 2 friends.
Yeah.
All right. With all that out of the way, there's only one thing to talk about this week, and that's going to be the Summer Games Fest.
Summer Game Fest.
All right, it's time to talk about Summer Game Fest. The 2-week game extravaganza has come to an end. And we'd like to talk about some of the games that were shown that got us excited about what's next for video games. Now, we don't have time to cover every show and every game shown over there over the last few weeks, because it is a couple of weeks this whole thing goes on. But we have a list to dive into. But before we start there, I want to give a shout out to the crew of the State of the Save podcast for not only compiling a huge spreadsheet of every game shown, plus trailers, plus notes, but being kind enough to post this list on Reddit for anyone to use.
Man.
And for the record, what I'm showing is not even the complete list.
I want to say, seriously, it's been a busy week for me for reasons I'll go into later. Y'all really helped us so much on me because I write all the scripts for the show. Again, you can find them on Spotify under State of the Save. All right.
Great name.
So this is going to be really free-flowing. So we're going to dive into what we like during Summer Games Fest. Now, usually when we do a show like this, I even have it in my notes. I say things like, Hector, why don't you kick us off? I'm being greedy as the show host this week, because I want to talk about the very first game that was shown at Summer Games Fest, and that is Resident Evil Veronica.
They dropped the code.
They did. They dropped it. It's no longer Code Veronica. It's Resident Evil Veronica. I am a Code Veronica enjoyer. I do not believe myself to be a Code Veronica apologist. It is one of the least liked Resident Evil games.
I think it was one of the least available Resident Evil games.
I mean,
it came
out on PS2 and.
Well, no, so this is just my memory.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love Resident Evil. I played Resident Evil 2 on PlayStation. I got it with the console when I bought it. Terrified my mother. But I was a Resident Evil fan all the way through. And if I remember, the PS2 came out, and Resident Evil Code Veronica was only available on Dreamcast for most of the life cycle of the PS2. So by the time it rolled around, like we were in RE4 territory, and I never went back to play it.
Yeah,
Now-
it's not a very beloved game. It has some twists to it that are very psycho-adjacent twists. It deals with some things that people might find a little uncomfortable, at least in the original version.
Not a Resident Evil game.
Okay, so normally when you're like, oh, it's uncomfortable in a Resident Evil game, you mean like, oh, people like, using genetic mutation on humans, not, hey, this brother is actually in love with his frozen sister.
I actually don't know what I mean because I've never played them. But question, you like Code Veronica. Do you think you'll like the Veronica herself or himself? I don't know who
So Veronica
is.
is not a person in the Resident Evil series. It is a version of the virus. That's why it's called Code Veronica in the original version.
So then who is this about?
So the games themselves... I don't have time to get into Resident Evil lore, John.
No, we can do this because, again, this is part of my Resident Evil lore. Because I got Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation 1, and I fucking played it on 2 discs, and I played 1 disc as Leon, which was amazing and badass, and there was a whole other disc there for Claire. Claire Redfield. And I had no idea who Chris Redfield was because I didn't play the first Resident Evil until I was like in my 20s. So I had this Claire Redfield playthrough. And depending on, we only had one game for like a year back then. So you play the game through as Leon first and then go to Claire, and that's like one whole playthrough. Then you start as Claire and then play Leon's story second, and that's a whole other playthrough, which is technically 4 playthroughs of this game. That's how Resident Evil worked back in the day. And we went to 3, which was not Claire Redfield, and I was like, who the fuck's this lady? And then we get to 4, and we're back with Leon. I was like, what happened to Claire? She was off in Code Veronica, and I never got to play her.
Well, I told Orson Welles, you make Lady from Shanghai, and there's not a lady from Shanghai. You don't get a movie.
So we need to close up this section because we have a lot to talk about. But I do want to say this, and I try not to like puff up my chest a little bit too much. First off, I'm excited for this because my favorite Resident Evil, ostensibly the one that everybody hates. But 2, there was a couch full of us watching the Summer Games Fest.
Oh, yeah.
And I swear to God, when that trailer was going on, because you cannot tell from that trailer that this is Code Veronica, because it's all in first person. Code Veronica was not. There's a lot of things. And at some point, we see the color of the jacket of the female protagonist, and I went, that's Claire Redfield.
Yep.
This is either a Resident Evil 9 expansion or this is Code Veronica.
Yep.
And I want to take that win where I can. All right,
Hell
Hector, pick something.
Oh boy! All right, I'm going to start with a big one because I feel like this is being undersung quite a bit for what it is. I want to talk about Gen Atlas.
Okay.
Gen Atlas is an upcoming game designed and created by Fumito Ueda. If you know who that is, he needs no further introduction. If you do not, you should know that he created games such as
Shadow of the Colossus?
Yes, and Eco, and the one after that with the one that took 12
Nobody
fucking
remembers his
years
games
to
after
make.
Shadow of the Colossus,
No,
for the
but
record.
people do and they like it.
The Last
But
Guardian.
But the Last Guardian took 12 fucking years to come out.
Nerds.
Every time this guy goes to make a video game, he just gets slapped around and told, your art doesn't make billions of dollars. It can wait. And I have a feeling looking at this trailer that everyone's going to be like, oh, this is what he wanted to do. Because this looks so fucking cool and so goddamn interesting in the way that every Ueda game does. But it seems to have a kind of, I don't know, there's an expanse to this fantasy that the rest of his games don't have, that is just, oh man, what a gorgeous trailer, what a cool looking game, and knowing where it's coming from, what the pedigree is, and the kind of crazy shit we're bound to encounter playing this game, I am so excited.
You know, the real problem is gamers like me who are like, oh shit, I am definitely going to buy that and play that eventually.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
swear.
no. Yeah,
I
yeah.
promise. Swear.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Swear down.
I'm going to be quick about the next one as we plow through the list. What I want to briefly mention is The Last Ronin.
Ooh.
Now, we actually talked about The Last Ronin being a game being developed, and also I want to say they were working on a movie as well. The Last Ronin, if you are unfamiliar with this story, it is a comic book story. Hey, guess what? It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles story, actually.
right.
The story of The Last Ronin is of a timeline in which all of the Ninja Turtles but Michelangelo have died. Splinter's gone, everybody's gone, and Michelangelo takes all of their weapons and becomes a master of all of their weapons to go get revenge on who killed his brothers.
And then he turns the Ninja Turtles rated R.
And it is a rated R comic, and it's being made by Platinum fucking Games. Like, Platinum Games, they do action in a way
Yeah,
no one else does.
unmatched.
Yeah, I just saw
completely
Near
untouchable.
Automaton up there. Like, Jesus.
Yeah,
Platinum
the
is
Last
big.
Ronin looks so amazing. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. What a good excuse to finally go read the comic I've been promising myself I would read for years.
Yep.
Like, now is the time.
We got a comic book shop up the road.
Yes, we do.
Actually, we can go do comic book
Oh,
Wednesdays
yeah, we
again.
got Comic Book Wednesdays coming back here at the end of the summer.
Yeah,
I am so
we're gonna
in.
do it.
All right. I'm going to talk about an MMO.
Oh, that's so weird.
I know.
It
I
is
know.
2026.
It is 2026. For anyone who does not know the deep Hector lore, I was once addicted to World of Warcraft, as many men my age were.
What? Not you, Hector.
Me.
We were. How does it go in Romeo and Juliet? Two houses.
Oh yeah, the two houses.
Separated because I was a Final Fantasy Online person.
Yup, man, did I play? I played too much World of Warcraft. I'm talking thousands of hours over very few years. I am talking weekly Friday night, 8-hour-long raids. I am talking about the same raid again on Saturday and then Sunday. I'm talking about 300 hours just to get to max level in vanilla.
But how
WoW.
did you fit in the FIFA and Madden?
I don't think you understood. We only
I
played.
played zero. There is a block of time where I have no idea what came out on consoles.
John,
or
I want to
anything else.
explain something, and this isn't for Hector, but we were both very much into the MMOs we played. There was a period of time where the apartment complex that I lived in my 20s, 50% of the occupants of an entire apartment complex were people in my Final Fantasy guild.
But did you have an Ethernet cord connecting your apartments?
We didn't need that. We had fucking logical internet.
Whatever.
But yeah, so MMOs, and you know what? Eventually, I got all my shit together. This isn't a rant about WoW, and I quit and I focused on my life and became a functioning adult. But at one point, I saw another game that really, really ignited the spark of interest in me, and I got into Guild Wars 2. Because Guild Wars 1 came out and it felt like kind of an MMO version of like what you wanted Diablo 3 to really be like 10 years before Diablo 3 was even a trailer. And so Guild Wars 2 was really cool. Man, was that game an awesome MMO. They took everything about MMOs and they threw it in the trash. No more Holy Trinity, meaning tank DPS and healing, as far as compositions went. No more... the inability to really explore the world. This is a game with platforming puzzles in every zone. This is a game with, incredible public events and tons of amazing classes to dive into, and always stuck with their financial model. Which
This looks like Narnia.
Yeah, you buy the game and you get to play the game, and that is it.
No monthly costs.
No
whatsoever.
monthly
What?
costs. They made their money in expansions, and they've
Yep.
been expanding the game since it came out about 1,000 years ago.
And also, Guild Wars 1 and 2 are still going, and they're
Oh,
still
yeah.
making expansions for them.
Both are still online. Both are still getting content updates. So what we had announced here is Guild Wars 3, and all of the announcements were beyond what I could have hoped for from the studio, who said, yeah, we're still supporting 2, and we're still supporting 1. This is 3 now, and you can play 3. Will it be a continuation of 2? No. It's a new game. It's a different game. It's Guild Wars 3. It'll have different focuses. It'll have different ways that you can play it. It's still an MMO, still a Guild Wars game, just like 1 and 2, but it's different. And they put their beta all the way out in fall of next year, which, man, what an interesting thing to announce in a world where MMOs are deader than live service games.
In a world where MMOs are deader than live. I'm sorry.
No, I was
Like, it
waiting
sounds
for you
like
to
you're
finish,
you're
'cause it
pitching
was
me a
good.
trailer.
It was good. So in this world, they had the fucking balls, the center, the gravitas.
Huevos.
They had the
ovaries.
gumption.
For all you Novaries out there.
That's right. To fucking announce Guild Wars 3 and not the end of Guild Wars 2.
Nope.
We literally had Bungie this week announce the end of Destiny 2 and not the beginning of Destiny 3.
Yeah.
We got basically the opposite from the studio.
But there are going to be 3 Guild Wars games in active development, and all of them getting expansions, and you could just pick
You
a
just
different.
buy one and play it.
Buy one and play it.
As much as you want.
All right. Yeah, Guild Wars 3, that's one. I'm going to talk about 1666 Amsterdam.
Ooh.
I'm going to do a little plug for my friends because over the last week I was
Yeah.
on a little podcast, not little, it's a big podcast
Mhm.
called Metal Geeks,
Yeah.
run by my friend Carrie. And he had me on as a guest to talk about Summer Games Fest, and I dived a little bit into why I'm so excited for 1666. But you're listening to our show right now. I don't want you to swap over. I want you to keep listening to us. So 1666, I want to give you a brief history of it because this game looks brilliant. It looks beautiful. It looks haunting. It's got scary witch ladies. So great. Here's the thing about this game that people are not talking about. This game was originally created by one of the original creators of Assassin's Creed when he worked for Ubisoft. And at some point, this guy, this was his pet project. This was all he had. The trailer had original trailer had kind of gone around the internet, and then he either left or got shit canned from Ubisoft. This was something like 15 years ago. This all happened. He wanted to go after he left Ubisoft to work on this game, and honestly, now that I'm rewatching the trailer, it's got a lot of original Assassin's Creed roots because it goes back and forth in timelines.
Mm-hmm.
But so he leaves, says, "Hey, I want to still make this game," and Ubisoft says that, "Hey, by the nature of your contract, which it's like this way at a lot of game studios, any content that you make during your time with us are property of us as a studio." And so Ubisoft had the rights to this game, and they kept it tucked away, and the developer began to sue Ubisoft for like 10 fucking years.
It's about time.
And eventually, he got through. He got the rights back to his game. He started a new studio. This is the trailer for it. We don't even know what it's all about other than a fact that a witch from 1666 is going to fucking do some badass shit. And if it's by the person who made Assassin's Creed, it's probably going to be pretty action heavy, which will be fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, you played the
I
prologue.
played the demo. Just shout out real quick to Steam right now if you're listening to this on June 18th of 2026. What is going on right now and for the next week or two is Steam Next Fest. It happens every year, and it just gives a whole bunch of indie games from the AA's all the way down to the cost you 5 cents games. They get to release demos. And Steam starts to highlight and aggregate and point you at what kind of game do you want to play? What kind of new game do you want to play today? That's what Next Fest is. You have thousands of demos to pick from. You might find your next favorite, the next thing that excites you, or maybe just a game that you didn't know existed. This is a wonderful time to be browsing Steam and to be looking for demos because in it you would find a demo for 1666. And I played it, and it was awesome. It felt somewhere halfway between an Assassin's Creed and a graphic novel. There was, some really good storytelling, some really awesome, visceral, environmental, like gore and cool shit. And oh man, I had a good time. I know that as soon as it comes out, I want to play more, and that's what demos are for. So yeah.
Is
Get into
anybody else
that.
wigged out a little bit by the whole Salem witch thing?
I don't know what you mean.
Meaning that's basically like the American version of Auschwitz.
Oh,
Like,
That's,
it's
I mean, it's just one of them.
fair.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is
you're
one
right.
of
You're
them.
right.
We did. You know what
we've
we
done
did
plenty.
way before we started killing our own women for knowing things? We killed all the indigenous people.
Don't
on
forget
this land.
slavery.
Yeah, this is a country with a rich history of genocide. Let's
Oh
not
yeah,
forget that.
we genocided
That-
our own women.
that he says is the only white man on this panel.
Yeah, no, like, are we talking about the genocide where we cleared people from their own land to bring them
I'm
here
just
to build our
saying. I'm just
schools?
saying. We don't see any video games about
Also, a lot less
black
people-
demons who needed to be enslaved.
Also, historically, a lot less people died during the Salem witch trials, as we said. Do yourself a favor, go to Salem, go to the Salem Witch Museum. Very
That's
educational.
what I want to do. My wife is going in October, and I want to join her.
That sounds awesome. You should go.
a lot of fun. Very
I want to
educational.
know about it.
What do you got, Hector? Do you got some picked up?
Speaking of old scary shit, I have to right now talk about Blood of the Dawnwalker.
Yeah, let's talk
Why
about
do I have
it.
to talk about Blood of the Dawnwalker?
so excited
We
for this
knew
game.
this game was coming, that it was coming from Rebel Wolves, a studio that broke off from CD Projekt to make their own The Witcher with blackjack and hookers and less corporate oversight. And here we are with the game. We got an amazing trailer for it, and I looked at that trailer and I thought about developers coming from CDPR, and I was like, well, I mean, this trailer looks amazing. I can't wait to play this game in about 5 years. So we got another trailer. Here it comes, right out of Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, and they drop September 3rd on us.
They do.
And by September 3rd, I mean less than like 60 days from now, September 3rd. No, it's probably like 90 days. Still, I wasn't expecting this game for years. So I am very interested to see more gameplay very soon. But more so, I can't wait to play this game.
Yeah.
This date was so soon that it gave me a little bit of pause, in the same way that I've just been burned by CDPR so many times by like making the mistake of playing their game when they release it rather than like a year later when it's the best game ever made. So I really hope that's not the situation now. I don't want to dissuade anyone. I will say, look at gameplay, decide for yourself. You know, and it's not even, I'm not even saying wait for reviews, which you should. I'm saying decide for yourself, because everyone has their own level of jank that they're willing to dive into for really good, very interesting gameplay and storytelling. And there's no amount of jank that would have put me off buying Cyberpunk Day One or The Witcher 3 Day One, even though they had far too much jank to be acceptable. I'm just, as a PC gamer, you become willing to accept such things for.
But were you on a PS4 or a PS3
No,
for?
PlayStation? No, I'm sorry, PC all the way.
Yeah,
Oh.
Always PC.
You know, honestly, it depends on how much jank you're willing to put up with. Is how I sell myself on a dating profile.
I mean, that's honestly the greatest like profile. It's like we all have our own level of jank we're willing to accept. So you know,
It's not the amount; it's how well it lines up.
that's true.
Should we briefly talk about Monster Hunter Wilds?
We should probably talk about Monster Hunter Wilds, since we played so much Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yep.
Didn't they already release that game?
They
Yeah,
did a long
they did.
time ago, yeah.
Yep.
And so we are just now learning that we do have a whole expansion in the works. And Capcom themselves, which are not prone to hubris in this sort of thing, are calling this a massive expansion, which I truly hope is the case, because this game, while we did play probably about at least 100 hours of it as a team,
Yep.
runs like ass on PC.
It does.
It really does, and it only got worse until
It's
a
like two
fan,
asses together. It's an ass to ass situation.
yeah, until a fan figured out what was wrong with the game and told them, and they're like, "Oh shit, yeah, it works way better this way," and suddenly the game runs well on PC.
Yeah, legitimately, a fan fixed their code.
Yeah, and you know what the problem was? It was a DRM.
Yep.
It was a DRM checking in every like 1/4 of a second.
Yep.
It was absolute horseshit.
Fuck DRM.
Yeah. Fuck it for. It's on Steam. Steam games don't need DRM. They're on Steam.
Right.
Put DRM on every game that you have that doesn't come out with a Steam key. You know, just leave us alone. But yeah, we're getting a big expansion. It looks amazing. There's tons of new monsters. Some interesting new additives to make your weapons more interesting is what we've seen so far. So, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Nero's sword from Devil May Cry, where you can like rev it and
Yeah.
make it stronger. That's what it seems like. They have a system like that for every weapon in Monster Hunter.
Fantastic. Love
Which,
it.
oh man, that's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be a good
rev
time.
my lance so hard.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna rev my hammer, and that is not a euphemism.
I'm grabbing some things that we both kind of want to jump into here. Let's talk briefly about The Wolf Among Us and specifically The Wolf Among Us 2. But this is going to be a joint effort because we got two announcements. One was the release date, which is tentatively 2027, for The Wolf Among Us 2, a game that was announced something like 3 years ago. And the original version of The Wolf Among Us, God, we're getting a remake of that, but that game came out like
Oh yeah,
15
like
years
right
ago.
after the first series of The Walking Dead ended. Telltale Games.
Hector, what is Fable: The Wolf Among Us?
Fable: The Wolf Among Us is, I want to say it was a graphic novel, right?
It was from Vertigo.
Yeah, from forever ago. The Wolf Among Us, the game, is a game set in the universe of that graphic novel where you follow a detective story
Big B Wolf.
where Big B Wolf is obviously you can get it from the name, is investigating a murder in a fictional world where all of the fairy tales are real to a certain extent. These characters are all real people, from Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf to, I guess, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and on and on and on. Fantasy characters, and they all live in a spot inside of New York City where they kind of have their own rules and laws, and there's magic around, and you have to kind of deal with it. But it's a little bit gritty and a little bit, like the night in New York and everyone's smoking, and there's a desk fan somewhere.
Looks like
you
cool world for fairy tales.
It is, kind
but
of.
also a little bit of Dick Tracy and a
Yeah.
little bit of
Roger Rabbit?
a little bit of Roger Rabbit, but earlier than that, it's like what Roger Rabbit, a little bit of Maltese Falcon. How about that? Yeah.
But it's a telltale game, which means it's a story-driven game. You don't have to
Oh,
press
yeah.
a lot of buttons to play
Yeah,
it.
no, you're not going to do any action. You certainly won't do any shooting. You're going to do a lot of conversations. You're going to solve a mystery. You're going to play little games here and there where you have to make choices about, like, do I chase this guy or do I follow this lead instead? Or, stuff like that to make the game more interesting and more replayable. I love these types of games. We've had not many as of late because for a while we got far too many and they diluted the market. So it's nice to see it coming back, but my favorite thing is seeing it come back with this property. Because I'm sure if you did the math, the smart money would have been to like bring back The Walking Dead or some stupid bullshit. And that wouldn't have worked because no one cares anymore. But this, cannot wait for this one.
Okay, I'm going to get us to the next block of games to talk about. The first one's going to be very, very quick. They did a trailer for Street Fighter 6 Year 4. That just means this is Year 4 of Street Fighter 6. Game is as popular as ever, and that means, hey, we're going to do character announcements. And what they did is they showed a bunch of characters nobody knows, most of them original characters, and nobody gave a shit. And then they did the one thing those sons of bitches that we could not have expected, and that is they put Tifa from Final Fantasy in Street Fighter. She has not been in a fighting game since one of my favorite games of all time called Airgees. Nobody remembers that game. It's not a good fighting game. That's the kind of game that James likes. But Tifa was in that fighting game because that was a Square Enix game. She is a Square Enix character that is now going to be in a Capcom fighting game.
Yeah.
Excited. Now, the really big thing that's been going on since the Game Awards when Highguard was announced was the internet kind of shitting all over Jeff Keighley because the TLDR of the story was this game Highguard was not ready for prime time. Jeff Keighley saw it and said, all right, guys, this game is so good. I want to get eyes in front of it right now. I want to give you all the prestigious one last thing at the Game Awards. I want you to have this spot. And they actually went on record and said, we weren't ready for that, but when Jeff Keighley's that excited, let's go ahead and do it.
But it's an opportunity you can't pass up.
You can't pass up, right? Like the one more thing spot in any game show is the most important.
I got to be honest.
And
this year, I was very surprised that they even had that spot again.
So
after the stank on it.
So Highguard gets the one more thing, goes into beta 2 months later. 1 month later, the company closes because it's all bombed so badly.
Yep.
At this point, the internet's like, Jeff Keighley, you are cursed. And maybe don't do another one more thing. And then Jeff Keighley's like, all right, everybody, Summer Games Fest. Time for one more thing. And we're all clenching our buttholes.
Yeah. It's like, what are you going to curse this
I
time?
found
Please
this
don't
poor
be
kid off
something
the street who says he's got a big idea.
But you know what? If Jeff Keighley is using his powers to preemptively close live service games,
Right.
maybe we let him
That
cook.
thing. And then Jeff Keighley's like, hey, remember the first two parts of that Final Fantasy VII remake that have come out? Here's the trailer for the third and final game in the trilogy of Final Fantasy VII. Which, by the way, if you pay attention to the covers of the Final Fantasy VII releases, because there's been two games of... I know this is weird. If you've never played Final Fantasy, this is going to make no sense. There was Final Fantasy VII, took place on 3 discs. Now they've remade Final Fantasy, but they broke it up into 3 games instead of 3 discs. And they've actually used the covers from the CD for each one for the third. So now we're in the third and final Final Fantasy VII remake.
Wait, was it always called Revelation?
No, it was just called Final
It was
Fantasy
just
VII
called
in the
Final
original.
Fantasy
Good
VII.
Lord.
But then we got remake,
And then
intergrade.
Yeah, and then
That's a
Revelation.
placeholder title, right?
So This is just a whole. But like the game has changed. Like this is the first one that's going to be open world. The other ones were not open world. We get to fly around in the airship
Because that's how Final Fantasies work.
Right.
You don't get the open world until the end of the game.
Right. And then they're adding a whole ass job system to it. And there's just a whole lot of things. But anyways, TLDR to this whole thing, I just want to say the internet was very happy and was like, Jeff Keighley, you've redeemed yourself for the last.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Jeff picked a game. He's like, not even I'm popular enough to fuck this up. I could walk out and say like, this is gonna be game of the year, and everyone would still buy it.
Yeah.
Like, he can say whatever he wants.
You could call it. You could add a title with Revelation on the end, and it'll be fine. Nobody
There's
cares.
one more thing I want to talk about before we leave Summer Games Fest into the next block, and it's not about a game. It's about a date.
Okay.
Because what we kept seeing, the unspoken, gigantic, fucking massive 3,000-pound blue whale-sized elephant in this room wasn't at Summer Games Fest because it didn't have to be. Why would it be? Why would they spend money on that? That's insane. But what we do have is a giant spot in our calendar right in October where Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out. So what we got over and over...
We don't even have a confirmation of the date.
Over and over and over again, we got, here's my game, release date, September 24th. Here's my game, release date, September 24th. We got like at least 2 AAA titles and a couple of AA's all being like, yeah, September 24th.
No,
I have to play Control Resonant at the same time that I play like 3 other games.
They're doing it's September and early October because I think Grand Theft Auto releases at like early
End of October. End of October, early November. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
theoretically, we don't even know yet.
Yeah. Like I think they have a date, but or at the very least a month. I think they do have a date. But like, I don't care. I'm not playing it at launch because it's not the PC version. Only the PC version of these games is ever up to snuff. So like, I'm just not gonna sit on my couch on my PS5 with this for like the months that it takes to play one of these games. Sure. But yeah, man, like. I just it was Onimusha, Control Resonant. I think Wolverine's a little bit earlier, but not that much earlier.
Everybody's avoiding Grand Theft Auto. So.
Yeah, so I thought that was very funny because it became more and more of a meme as the show went on. It's like, and when's it coming out? Everyone's like September.
All right, so now we're going to move on from Summer Games Fest proper and go over to Day of the Devs, which is my every year favorite because Day of the Devs is an indie game showcase where like the wildest, most fun games get shown. I want to talk about Tenebris Somnia. Now, Tenebris Somnia is a fascinating game because Tenebris Somnia is an 8 to 16-bit game that plays like an old school Resident Evil game. But instead of doing all the cutscenes within the game engine themselves, all of the cutscenes are filmed in live action. Like the game will just cut from like the action of the game to a live action horror movie in the middle of you playing it. And all of it was filmed and scripted, and they got like professional ass directors to come out who worked on other projects. This was a game that was very highly inspired by the game Faith, which was a 4-bit horror game. And basically the guys who played Faith, because in Faith, instead of having live action horror, what they do is rotoscoping for the horror in that. And they were like, well, what if we did that but with live action? Tenebris Somnia is just going to be top of the list for me when it comes out on October 2016. It looks so good. I cannot wait to play it. I'll probably play it on my Discord so like people can watch along while I play. Yeah. Hector, pick a game.
All right. Let's see here. If I remember right, 33 Immortals looked really cool to me.
Okay. Yeah, again, Day of the Devs is like one of those like shows where you watch it and you're just like, every game in here looks fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. 33 Immortals comes off of a it's a roguelike kind of dungeon crawly a game that I played a long time ago about just like a family that all went dungeon crawling together.
Got a real Hades vibe.
Yeah, very 80s vibe, very top down. It reminds me a lot of Oh God, that wizard needs food badly.
Gauntlet.
Thank you. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Gauntlet. But the thing about this one is it appears to be like not an MMO, but it opens into an area where like you can have dozens of other people playing with you, if
So,
not more.
so
than that.
when they talked about this game, so I do have some details about this. When they were talking about this game, what they were saying is that it can have like 33 players in it. There is no way to communicate in the game whatsoever. You're not supposed to like have your mics on and coordinate.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is like kind of like Journey. You get on with random strangers and you just try and fight through every stage of this game.
Yeah, and it just seems like just the most incredible fun to me. I love stuff like this. There was a reason I played World of Warcraft so much is because I love the idea of raiding. I love the idea of getting a huge group of people together and making them all solve puzzles together.
Yeah, and this is definitely raid mechanics, the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So like. Yeah, speaking my language, can't wait to play. Comes out, may already be out in beta or some kind of like early access form.
You guys don't have anything to say about Lazy River?
I mean, Lazy River looks fun. It's a game where don't pee in the pool or people become zombies.
No. Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the premise behind this game is that you're on a space station that has space water, and it's a water park for people to go to, just like any generic water park. But because it's space water, if you pee in the pool, then you become a zombie. And so you and some friends are on a raft because people peed in the pool at the water park, and everybody's become zombies. And so
Nice.
now you got to kill all the zombies because people peed in the pool. That's the premise
and,
of that
and you
game.
got to upgrade your, your raft.
Yeah.
'Cause you're still
That
on the
actually
lazy
does
river.
look kind of fun.
Yeah.
No, the stuff like this is adorable. I love things like this. That any game where you can like build stuff and just play around in like a big like play area with your friends is like these are always a good time. If you get all your friends in Discord and you're all like you got a drink and you're just running around letting the chaos like absorb you, it's so much fun.
I want to talk about Ithaca. Ithaca. So I notoriously hate visual novels,
Right.
which is really funny if you're friends with us right now. Notoriously, most of them are not very good. Most of them are usually porn, to be
Yeah.
perfectly honest. But every so often, visual novels come along that just change the game. When I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about things like Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh yeah.
The very meta horror narrative. There are fantastic visual novels out there, just a lot of them aren't great. Now, Ithaca is a visual novel in which you're essentially like a DoorDash driver. You are taking or a package delivery driver. You're going from one place to another over a long distance, actually, and you're doing it in your car. And as you play the game, you listen to the radio and you think about who you are as a person while you play the game. And you have stats and you can level up, but you don't really have conflict the way that a normal game has conflict. You're not pulling out a gun shooting anybody. All of the decisions you make are just things that you make while you are driving in your car. And they even said during the premiere of this that there are definitely ways that you can end the game prematurely by just deciding not to continue driving the package to its destination. Or maybe you figure out what the package is, and maybe you shouldn't go deliver that. There are choices that will be made in this visual novel that are very different. And I've been really getting a kick out of visual novels that are visual novels plus. I would consider Citizen Sleeper a visual novel plus.
Right, because it's not just trying to tell you a story; it's engaging
Yeah,
you.
you're,
in, like,
you're
like
rolling
what
dice
happens.
and you're doing things. So, that's Ithaca. And I just want to get more eyes on that because it looks beautiful and I'm super excited about it. Hector, you got something for me?
I don't have anything left for the indie showcases in here except one from the from the Black Tabby Publishing show, and that's Trine 6 because I can't believe we're still making Trine games. These come from a very, very early version of what indie games were. And some guys took whatever version of Unreal Engine it was at the time and it's like, well, let's do kind of a side-scrolling battler, little puzzler with like one guy will be a warrior and one lady will be an archer rogue and, there'll be a wizard dude. And they'll like solve puzzles with their different powers so they can platform and they'll fight things. And then they made 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and then I hadn't heard about this series in such a long time. And I'm looking at it
I was
now,
just
and
like,
I'm like,
people play these
wow,
games?
we really, really just kept making these.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that complimentary, not derogatory. Like, this looks really cool. It looks like exactly what we got before, only more and more creative. And, like, even better graphics. And these have been Unreal showcases since forever. But specifically Unreal showcases about what you can do with an indie game and an indie budget, including, like, all of the built-in physics and graphics and lighting that just make the game really pop without having a huge team and a bunch of artists. Like, it's almost the sort of thing that, like, we made this with the default tools of the engine, sort of like engine thing. Like those games you used to get with consoles that were basically just a showcase of what the new technology could do, but they kept making fun games out of them, kind of like an Astrobot situation. So yeah, I'm so glad we're getting another one. Trine 6. All
Yeah.
right.
There's a lot of stuff that was in Day of the Devs that we've actually already talked about previously in the podcast. I know that I've talked a lot about Prove You're Human. There's a lot of those games that were super exciting. We can go ahead and jump into the Xbox Game Showcase next. Because this is going to be an interesting thing to talk about given the news this week. Hector, will you lead us into the news this week?
So yeah, in the context of the Xbox showcase, Xbox came out and they showed a bunch of games, and we had a bunch of good news from their new CEO and their new head of games production and all of that type of stuff. Showed us a bunch of trailers and said, hey, things are changing. There's going to be a big change at Microsoft. We're trying to do better. And then they showed us a bunch of games.
A lot of great trailers,
A
actually.
lot of great trailers. It was a good showcase. So this week, we're getting the news that, yeah, the axe is falling in some places that we really didn't expect. We knew there was an axe coming. We knew that they had to restructure things, that, Game Pass had been more of a miss than a hit, that, the lack of exclusives was, going to be kind of a problem. And then they're like, no, exclusives are back. And we're reformatting and dropping the price of Game Pass. And we're going to try and present it in a way that doesn't devalue what gaming is as a whole. And yeah, so this week it's like, well, so we showed you that awesome trailer for Senua, right? From Ninja Theory. You guys love Ninja Theory. Yeah, Ninja Theory, yeah, we're going to kill them. Yeah, they're gone. And by gone, I mean they have, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks to negotiate them buying themselves from us, or we're closing them. Mm-hmm. The same is true, apparently, for Double Fine, which makes me incredibly sad, but also the most hopeful that one will land on its feet, because
They're the ones that host the Day of the Devs.
Yeah,
Summer
and
Games Fest.
Tim Schafer has done nothing but protect that studio from the moment he created it. I really hope he finds a way out of this. At the very
is the
least,
second time that studio's been canned.
yeah, at the very least, he has what it takes to keep the studio together while they seek new employment. Yeah, and then half a dozen other studios at the same time. So in light of what we're talking about, like some of the games we might talk about from the showcase belong to studios that have either already been released from Microsoft or are about to be. This is not a great look, because they knew this was coming. They knew this was
waited
coming
until
down the
after
line.
the showcase.
And they waited until after showing trailers for certain games to tell their developers, hey, we're probably going to fire all of you. And right now the news is, you could say, in flux. I mean, it's not in flux. The news right now is the news that, hey, we're going to close a bunch of studios that everyone loves and only take our catalog of AAA huge franchise hits and focus on those. Which is notoriously a horrible idea, but it was an idea Microsoft can't seem to get out of their heads. So here we go again. And, any of the cool, interesting new things that you might have seen, stuff like Keeper from Double Fine or Senua from Ninja Theory, yeah, we don't need those anymore. They can go.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about a couple of the games in the showcase, but we need to provide that context because we're going to sound really excited talking about these games. We are not excited for fucking Microsoft Studios and what they're doing to their developers right now.
Correct.
So The first thing they kicked off with was Gears of War E-Day.
Man, this looks good.
It does. It looks really good.
Fuck, I am a Gears enjoyer. I've never been an Xbox kid. I played every Gears game, either with a friend in co-op or on PC or in an anthology later. I have played every Gears of War's game, every mainline entry in the Gears of War's franchise. I know that there are some like RTS games and like
I played
some
that. It was fun.
Xbox games and XCOM style games and some of that. Those are fine. Those are great. They're not for me. I want to duck and roll and
You
shoot
want
people
the
in corner
bro
with a shotgun.
shooter.
I want the bro shooter. I want the
You want
kill
big
cam.
men.
I want the brutal kills. I want the men who look like they're wearing football pads under their skin. You know,
And women that are just as big.
women the exact same size. Some people think there are no dwarf women, like that size of a woman. Yeah. And
wanna
this
hear
is very
Bender.
cool. This is very, very cool.
And this takes place during like the initial incident
Yeah.
that kicks off the whole universe.
Because this one is E-Day. This is literally is like, yeah, we're veterans. We're veterans of like American wars. So of course we look like football players with giant guns. And then all of a sudden, here come the aliens. And the real fucked up part is they're coming from under the ground.
Right.
They're so fucked up. And no one knows what to do, but they're just walking through populated cities trying to keep these ground gremlins from eating everyone they see. And yeah, I can't wait to play this one.
Yeah,
I really
it'll be
can.
super
I
exciting.
know it's like exclusive in air quotes, but we know Microsoft doesn't have and half the fucking cojones of a studio that had launched 3 Guild Wars at once to stay like, no, it's exclusive forever. No, the second it makes money to put it on Steam, it's on Steam, which I'm guessing is about 6 to 8 months after it launches on Xbox. So
Yeah.
look forward to that. I know I do.
All right, I'm gonna kind of do a double feature because one of them is very short. And these are games that are definitely coming out because these are not a Microsoft studio. I want to talk about Persona 4 Revival.
Ooh, we're getting a Persona.
We're getting
another
a
Persona remake.
We're getting a remake of a remake in our Persona. Which, if you know anything about Atlas, that's what they do.
They literally do it to the games they just made all the time.
The original Persona 4 came out on the PS2. I never played that one. I only played the first 2 Persona games. I never played 3, which is everybody has said is the best. I played the remake. It is the best. Then they made Persona 4 Golden for the PS Vita, a console that nobody owned but James. And that was my first Persona game that was the modern Persona game. Very fantastic. Persona 4 Revival is taking the PlayStation Vita game and redoing it with the Persona 5 Plus engine, adding a lot of story elements from what I can tell from the Persona 4 anime, which is kind of a first because normally the anime just copy pastes the video games.
Cool.
But the Persona 4 anime is widely considered on par or as good, if not more, than Persona 4 Golden itself. Yeah, it looks great. Like it's the Persona 4 engine. These are all characters that I loved. Persona 4 over the years has become, even though it was my first modern Persona, has become my least favorite. And that's only because it's a little bit happier than the other ones. That's a weird thing to say about Persona, but like, bro, I played Persona 3 recently and like that shit's dark. That shit's my shit. Loved that. But yeah, Persona 4 Golden Revival, guess what? You're going to make me buy Persona 4 again. Now, the other thing that will be very, very brief that I want to mention here is that we finally got a teaser trailer for Persona 6. It is, and I know John's going to pull up the trailer right now while I'm talking about it. By the time I am done talking about it, this teaser trailer will have been over.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we've been waiting for a trailer for Persona 6 for years. Persona 5 came out around 2019. Then Persona 5 Royal, the remake with added chapters, came out in like 2021 or 2020 or 2021.
Right.
And ever since then, we've been sitting here being like, hey, Atlas, when are we going to get Persona 6? And the thing about Persona games is that they have interesting traits, like each individual entry in the series has like a color scheme to it. So there's been theories online, like what's the color scheme of Persona 6? 5 was red, 4 was, yellow, 3 was blue. And everybody's like, oh man, the leaks say it's going to be green. And it is going to be green. And here's the thing about this trailer that John is showing that don't even bother looking it up online because it literally is like 10 seconds long. People have figured out from this teaser trailer exactly what cemetery in Japan that this is replicating. And it is a cemetery that is specifically for people that are not Japanese that die in Japan.
Neat.
And everybody is starting to speculate what that means for the story of Persona 6, especially because the color's green, especially because the font looks like some Ghostbusters ass font.
So, can't wait to see an actual trailer and hear some music
Right.
from this game. But James, I have a little bit of very, very bad news.
Oh no, what's that?
Persona 5 came out in 2016.
Fuck, you're right.
10 years
You're
ago.
right. You're right.
It was not a just pre-COVID game.
Yeah.
A game came out a year after
You're
The
right.
Witcher
but
3.
But it was Persona 4 or 5 Reloaded.
Yeah,
or
Royal, right?
Royal that came out at like 2019.
Yeah, I think-
that's what
I
I'm
think,
thinking
yeah.
of.
We're old.
It's not that it's just that it's old. It's just that's how long they take between Persona games.
Oh, yeah,
There's-
absolutely.
Like Persona fans.
Well,
there's a
remember
reason-
that one came out on PS4. The Persona
Right.
4 came out on PS2.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying is that there's a reason why we as Persona fans keep buying the remakes is that it's the only thing to hold us over until the fucking next one 10 years from now. It's not like the old school Final Fantasies where they pumped out one a fucking year. All right, Persona rant over. Hector, hit me with something.
All right. What do I got for you from this showcase? There were so many good things. Let's see. Oh, I got to talk about Halo Campaign Evolved.
Oh my god. Can you even explain what the fuck this was?
So what are we doing here? Okay, so what we're getting is we're getting Halo remake again, which I'm fine with. You know what? I'll play the Halo, the first Halo campaign over and over again. I'll just play it on and on forever. If I have a friend and I have legendary mode and I have a supply of drinks, yeah, we can just do that literally forever.
I just replayed this, and I replayed this as a remaster.
yeah.
For the record.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and you know what? That remaster is a little long in the tooth. But the cool thing about that remaster was that it had the original code in it.
Right.
So you go back and forth between like the old
Yeah.
visuals and the new visuals, and you were like, "Oh, look how shiny!" But look at it now. It looks. This is like they took Halo Combat Evolved, and this is obviously Unreal, like probably 6 at this point. Considering 6 is just coming out, it looks so fucking good. There's absolutely no code left from the original Halo Combat Evolved in it, but it looks like, and this is the hardest part because
Oh,
it's
that's right.
Bungie
This was
DNA.
the opening scene in Halo. Okay.
Yeah, it's Bungie DNA, and Bungie is notoriously difficult to replicate when it comes to shooting mechanics and the feeling of just gravity itself and the
Yeah.
way that objects interact with each other. It plays by its own rules.
So just like Persona, we're just going to keep remaking it.
We're just gonna keep remaking it because it's the best thing we ever made, and you know what? We know it'll sell a couple million.
And everybody's not covered with a disgusting early 2010s grease.
Oh yeah, no. Everything is so clear. Like look at the beach. Look at the beach.
Uh-huh.
Look at the archive. Look at there's just the hallways, just those big purple hallways. All have kind of a glow and a sheen on the walls now. And like again, I don't want to get everyone's fucking all like 6 to midnight about a remake with prettier graphics because we see these every day. But man, this looks good, and I am pretty excited about it. Like, they are adding more content. Just to be clear, they're adding some stuff that was either cut in the end or they decided to add in. And to me, this feels like the thing that I'm always telling studios to do, and like fingers fucking crossed they do it. We're seeing it from CDPR right now. We're seeing it from a bunch of other studios. If you have a team that you were going to task with taking over the legacy of a fucking legendary franchise to try and make new games out of, make them remake an old one first. Even if you're not going to publish it. Honestly, like get that team and get them to make full-on one-to-one. If you can make Halo 1, and if you can understand how it works and why it works, play test it until it feels the same, because this is what people loved. If you can release it to the right quality, to the right standard, you're ready to make your own game in this franchise. We see CDPR doing it right now with the Witcher, the new Witcher 3 DLC, which we're about to get, which is going to lead into a remake of The Witcher 1, which is going to lead into The Witcher 4 coming out. And these are all like different studios CDPR is working with, but they're making them make content first that CDPR can look at it and say, yep, you get it. You do get it. You are going to add to our legacy here. You're not going to come in this brand new team pretending you know what you're doing and just shit all over our franchise. As much as I don't think we need another remake of Halo Combat Evolved, I'm excited to see how good
We'll
it
play
looks,
it.
and I'm glad that we might be getting another Halo soon.
Yeah.
It's still one of the only original zombie stories ever told.
No shit, right?
I want to hit two more things in the Xbox showcase before we move on to Future Game Show. Hector, do you want to lead us off with Valor Mortis?
Valar Mortis.
Because I know you're excited for it. I know I'm excited for it. I've been actually excited since the first trailer. And I, by the way, as somebody who does not like first-person melee combat in games, I tend to find it atrocious.
So
and
here's the
excited
problem
for
with
this.
Valar Mortis. The problem is the name doesn't tell me what the game's about, so I have to like think for a second. Yes, this game looks so fucking cool. I am a fan of Souls-likes because I like AA games with a little bit of jank and a lot of promise. And while From Software is the pinnacle of the art form, we have other studios that are known to like take a crack at it and make really interesting indie things like Mortal Shell, make really incredible things like Deck 13 did with the Surge series 1 and 2. God, what amazing games. You obviously get some really popular stuff on the side that is kind of Souls-esque, but not quite, which I would even include something like the recently released Mina the Hollower, and even though that's more of a Zelda 2-like than anything else, still has a lot of like interesting Souls mechanics in it. But what we have here is a first-person Souls game that takes place during some kind of demon-infested French Revolution.
Yeah.
Like Napoleon, hats, sabers, and pistols.
Hey, you weren't there, no, bro. It could have been like this.
It could have been. I wasn't there. I don't fucking know. Napoleon could have been like, I don't know, like
If we were there, would the title Valor Mortis mean anything to us?
no. No, I don't think so. And Valor Mortis is Latin for
Some
something
history
that
buffs
I
are
don't
about to correct
exactly
you.
know. But it is just if you watch the trailer, you're like, yeah, this looks like it fucking slaps. You get some first person like sword combat, which can be done very poorly, but I've seen done well. You have some really cool, like interesting, tough enemies that you really need to like lock in to face, which is all of my shit right there. Yeah, Valor Mortis. Yeah, can't wait for that one. Another one coming not too long from now.
Nope, not at all.
Very
All
excited.
right, as we wind down the Xbox showcase, the last thing I want to talk about here is Clockwork Revolution.
I thought you were going to talk about Spyro.
No, man, nobody wants to talk about Spyro, bro.
Spyro.
No.
But if you couldn't afford a Nintendo or like
But if it's just your big brother who got his PlayStation and you were
Spyro.
sitting there without a
Let's-
Mario game to play,
Let's talk about a game that James would play. Because James, like a lot of goths in the world, did at one point go through a very heavy steampunk phase.
of course.
And there are pictures of me in full steampunk regalia at going to goth clubs. But my history aside, Clockwork Revolution is a game that we've been seeing little bits and pieces of for a while. It has it's in Exile Entertainment. It has a very Deus Ex kind of immersive sim element to it. Approach the mission with the people however you want to it.
Yeah, almost a little bit of Dishonored, a little bit of Bioshock.
Yeah, it's very fascinating. Like the trailer, and I encourage you, if anything about what I'm talking about and describing poorly sounds good to you, watch the trailer for Clockwork Revolution.
Yeah.
They have this banging song for it that they play about like factories using you. It's all about getting your gang together and how you're going to proceed through missions. Everything about Clockwork Revolution, and I want to say this with a giant fucking asterisk, is what we wanted from Microsoft aligned studios before we found out that Microsoft started to shit can them.
Yeah.
As far as we know, this studio has not been shit canned yet. In Exile is still doing its own thing. But I encourage everybody, even if there was like 5% of a steampunk in you, check out Clockwork Revolution trailer. Put the music on full blast. It looks like it's going to be a hell of a time.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. This is the game that Microsoft should have always been good at making. If we were going to come down to something like, oh, well, it's a platformer or a JRPG or something, it's like, we would probably go to Sony for that. But like a fucking steampunk immersive sim that takes place in like, I don't know, some kind of steampunk Britain. Yeah, this should have always been us. The Xbox in general should have had this on lock from minute one. And this seems really cool. And
But
man, I
hey,
hope it is.
Microsoft's giving them a running start.
Yeah, they are. All right. Let's jump over to Future Game Show. We are almost through the list. We got Future Game Show and the PC Gaming Show to talk about. So let's just grab a handful of things from Future Game Show. There was lots of little things here and there. One of the bigger announcements didn't make a big splash for me because I never played the original, but was a really big deal for a lot of people that I'm friends with, was the Gothic remake.
Oh, yeah, which is out, by the way.
Yeah, they announced it and they're like, out now, by the way, bitches.
Yep, Gothic. And man, if you played this game back in the day, you are the epitome and exactly what I am talking about when I say, especially for PC players. If you're going to pick up a AA game that looks like it's doing something unique, you are willing to put up with a lot of bullshit jank in order to make this fun. And nothing was ever more bullshit jank than Gothic. But as a player of an RPG where you start not able to fight a dungeon rat and end the game basically a god, there were also physics and spikes everywhere, and you could kick your opponents into spike traps, and that would just end a fight. So it wasn't just that you had to be powerful and advance yourself, you always had to be very clever. Super cool that the remake is out. People genuinely like it. Co-Carnage, for people in the streaming scene, you know that name, has been playing it for like 2 weeks now and shows no signs of stopping. Absolutely that type of game for like old school PC gamers. Cannot recommend it enough. If you like your RPGs, Western style, weird, and with a lot of friction, but before you end up like being the god of the world, this is your game.
Hector, my friend, we've been friends a long time.
Oh, yeah.
You and I. We've worked together at several companies. You know that I love and I care about you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do anything for you. I would take a bullet for you. I mean that legitimately.
Don't take a bullet.
I would take a bullet for him. I would take a load for Hector. But that being said, sometimes Hector hurts my heart because he will post things in our group chat that make me go, why would you post that? And this was during Summer Games Fest. Hector, there's a game highlighted on my screen right now that I'm going to need you to at least briefly talk about. It's right here. I'm going to point to it.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So there was.
I don't know if I'm allowed to show this trailer.
You can go ahead and show it. Okay. So here's the thing, and you really need to watch the trailer to understand what I'm about to say. God, how do I do this without telling a long story? For people who are really into Call of Duty multiplayer and military multiplayer in general, it goes all the way back to Call of Duty 1 with the like World War I stuff and Battlefield, and you just like guns and and like shooting and realistic combat stuff like that. Absolute gun porn. And then you got into Modern Warfare. But then, the people who made Modern Warfare branched off and made Titanfall. And now you were using your modern and interesting and near future guns while running on walls and having a double jump and a jetpack and having a giant fucking mech to dive into so you can kill a whole bunch of people and fight other mechs in it. And then they got put on other stuff, and right now they're making the absolutely wonderful Jedi Survivor series, so I'm glad they landed somewhere great. But all anyone wanted from this genre was another Titanfall. We desperately wanted Titanfall 3. We want a shooter with incredible graphics, with amazing customizable weapons, down to the scopes, down to the magnification of the scopes, and a giant robot to jump into to really, really, make gameplay shine. And I watched a trailer for that game at Xbox Game Show. And if you've been watching the stream, you know exactly what game that is on the screen right now. The game is called WTF, which stands for Waifu Tactical
Force.
Waifu,
Waifu
tactical,
Force.
Because in this game, this military shooter, with incredible realistic guns and gunplay and
With a
mechs to
cat
jump
scope.
into and amazing fucking mechanics to fight in an arena with all your friends. It's a waifu. You're playing as a waifu, an anime ass cell shaded waifu, that you customize to be your waifu, just not an indefinite article a waifu. And this is your waifu. Her gun may be customized with a scope with the shape of a cat with cute cat ears on it and maybe a little cat face for the reticule. This is it. This is the game every bro on earth has ever been waiting for. This is the game they wanted to play. They just didn't want to play it like this. And I really, really hope this game ends up incredibly popular. I hope this game ends up being an esport. I literally want to tune into Twitch one day and watch the most well-paid fucking CS:GO streamers to be in $1 million tournament playing Waifu Tactical Force. Because this is what we deserve, and I'm glad it's here.
You're not wrong.
I want to briefly talk about a game that I'm super excited for, which is Clive Barker's Hellraiser Revival.
Ooh.
I apologize if you hear metal banging on things. I am not slapping my mic. My cat is rubbing her face on the mic and is probably making a bunch of noise right now.
She's trying to spill your drinks.
Maybe.
Is what she's
Trying to do so many things. So, Clive Barker's Hellraiser Revival is a single player. I just want to emphasize that real quick because so many horror movie games that have been coming out recently are multiplayer games, such as Saw and Halloween. This is a single player Hellraiser game with Doug Bradley coming back to play Pinhead. And it takes place in two different stories, essentially. One is you there's two factions that are trying to come and get you. You are a person who is indulged in the puzzle box. You have met a partner that you fell in love with that is just as depraved as you. You have both died and gone to hell. Now, you want to save her and get out of hell. And everything about this game is fascinating. You get this modification of the puzzle box. It's not using the original lament configuration that's on display in the movie. It's using a variant of it. And the reason for that is that you can change the puzzle box around for certain puzzles. The team worked specifically with Clive Barker, worked specifically with Doug Bradley to bring this to life. It is the reason they didn't want to do multiplayer is they were like, that doesn't work for a fucking Hellraiser game. A Hellraiser game is story. It is personal. It is fucked up. And everything about this, they basically have been saying for a while, look, this is going to be a mature rated game that's bordering on an adults only rating.
Yeah, fair.
Because that's what fucking Hellraiser is.
Yeah. I mean, it's, all about, pleasure and pain and shit. Here's some adult themes.
Exactly. So I'm super, super excited about that. Hector, you got something for me?
Yeah, and one more time, I will shout out quickly that Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced is coming very, very soon. It comes out in less than 3 weeks.
If you'd like to get your pirate on.
9th. I'm going to be a pirate through all of July. All of July, I'm going to be a pirate. It's going to be fucking amazing. I'm going to be on the show that month singing sea shanties.
I am going to try and do the show without the cat trying to knock my tablet out.
Good luck. Let's see. Other ones real quick, because we didn't mention it during the last showcase, but it comes out, guess when? September 24th. Mm-hmm. We obviously saw another trailer for Control Resonant.
Yep, we are super excited. That is a game that we have talked about endlessly on this show.
Yep, show me no more trailers, please and thank you.
Yeah, please do that. If you, we are fans of House of Leaves, and we love the Control series because they're basically 1-to-1.
Yep.
Anything else that's on Future Game Show you want to talk about?
Yeah, Power Wash Simulator 2 is getting Star Wars DLC.
Hell yeah, Power Wash Simulator.
Listen to fucking podcasts and watch YouTube videos while I spray down the Millennium Falcon.
Hector, for those of our audience that don't know what a Power Wash Simulator is,
they all know.
Even if it's not apparent from the title, could you please explain?
Right, so Power Wash Simulator does exactly what it says on the tin. It puts a power washer in your hand and gives you something really dirty to clean. And so what you do is you know, learn how the power washer works and how much pressure you need to clean a certain kind of dirt, and you know, and it look over parts, and you know, maybe even obsess a little bit over how clean something is, and do just a job well done at just cleaning the whole fucking thing. Sometimes it's a driveway, sometimes it's a van, sometimes it's a whole house, sometimes it's an entire fire station.
What is the adjective to this porn?
Power wash.
Yeah, it's clean,
No,
it's cleaning porn.
Competence porn, or like
No, this is just job
It's
porn.
a cozy game.
Yeah, it is a very cozy game.
Yeah.
Cozy is what you're looking for. But it is, it's just a job porn, honestly, straight up. And it's very zen. It's very relaxing. It's a great way to, if you want to experience something that you're used to experiencing in the background, but you don't have anything to do to put something in the background of, this is your thing. This is your thing. You do this because it requires exactly half your brain, and the other half knows everything that was said in that podcast. It is, I've never seen a more perfect vehicle for exactly this kind of entertainment. And there it is. Because we can't cook all day, or clean our kitchen all day, or sharpen our knives all day. We you know, or build bombs all day. We gotta just live our lives, and sometimes I really do want to listen to that podcast, but I don't want to just listen to a podcast. What am I, crazy?
Right.
No. But if you play some Power Wash Simulator, there you are. You know, you got you know, an entire level to listen to that podcast.
That is very true. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hop over into the future gaming show for where I want to go next. We have actually talked about this next game briefly on the podcast, but I want to bring it back up just because you know, we got a little bit more of a release date and everything for it. One of the games they showed is a game called There Are No Ghosts at the Grand. This game is going to appeal to so many of my friends, and I will say that is like even people who don't regularly play games.
Did this not come
will
out
be
a long time ago?
No, it
This,
has not.
no, not at all.
This is going to be Q4 2026. So the idea is you, the player, inherit a crumbling English hotel, and you restore it by day and battle ghosts by night. And as you play it, you encounter the various people who live in the city. You get the story of possibly the ghosts that live in the city. It is not a serious game. It is not a spooker game. This is more of a Shaun of the Dead level horror game that you are playing.
Yeah, no, I'll preface this by saying, only because this game is honestly very similar to Power Wash Simulator, but with more of a narrative, that there are legitimately spooky moments sometimes in Power Wash Simulator, and it's nothing but framing and a little bit of just like a tiny sound when you didn't expect it.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's what they're very much going for, but again, much more of a narrative here. Like, but I'm also getting, like, aside from Power Wash Simulator, I'm also getting a little bit of Moonlighter and a little bit of something like Mixtape, or what was the one before that everyone loves? With the girls of the Pacific Northwest.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know the one I'm talking about. Yeah. But
Life is Strange.
Yeah. Life is Strange. You know, you get characters, you get people, you get interesting stuff going on, and you get some spooks happening as well.
But like very light spooks.
Yeah, very light spooks. But
Also, you
know,
can build an arcade in your hotel.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I did just everything about this seems awesome.
Yeah,
frankly,
it is
like,
it looks like such a good time.
It really does. It looks like, you know what? It feels like watching like a PG movie in the 80s, like going to the theaters to see like, well, this is just some fucking popcorn shit, and I can't wait to.
It's got
to
like
go
a little
see this.
spooky for me,
Yeah.
but like not too much spooky.
Like
for
this
me.
might as well be a trailer for like Gremlins 2. It's like, no, I'm
Also,
going to that.
any trailer with a cat, A plus.
Oh yeah, always.
Hector, do you have a pick for me for?
I
PC
believe
Gaming
I
Show?
have one for you. Yeah. Oh, obviously, this is the one I wanted to ask you if you had seen the trailer for. Star Trek Outpost Unknown.
You started with Star Trek, so
no.
so no, because I have very limited Star Trek.
So someone made a
knowledge.
Star Trek game, and James is like, "Oh, fucking kill me!" So there's a Star Trek game coming out, a la Alien Isolation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the fact that it's a Star Trek game was the twist at the end of the trailer.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
whole trailer full of like cool like sci-fi shit, and then there's like some spooky shit because you're like on an unknown like space station, and like the shit shouldn't be there, and then like you see this floating badge in the air, and you reach out to grab it, and it's a fucking Federation badge, and you're in the Federation, and this is a Star Trek Outpost Unknown, and I'm like, what? What are we doing?
That I mean.
Oh, it's a strategy game?
Oh, I might be talking about the wrong game.
Oh.
If there's a Star Trek strategy game called Outpost Unknown, and I'm describing the wrong game, I very much
possible.
apologize to you guys. Anyway, there's a Star Trek game that's a spooker coming out.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm
It might
fucking
not
in.
be this one, but it's on the list somewhere because I did see the trailer during Games Fest.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, like Future Game Show always had a lot of stuff that's really exciting. Unfortunately, a lot of things in Future Game Show are TBA. So one of the ones that I never played the original, but I always wanted to was El Paso Elsewhere. It's kind of like and I feel like this term gets abused a little bit of a David Lynch kind of style, Twin Peaks adjacent. Everything is very nonsensical as you kind of watch it.
Yeah, no, so I'm totally sorry. I did mention the wrong title. There is a kind of base builder RTS style Star Trek game coming out that looks very cool that we just saw the trailer for. What I meant to show you a trailer for was Star Trek Shadow Frontier.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry, but if we
I
can pull
wonder
up
why that
trailer,
one wasn't on our list.
that'll make
James.
a lot more sense.
I don't know.
No, no
thankfully,
idea.
chat
The
has
trailer
stepped
is
in.
like literally a week old. So yeah, it came out at the exact same time.
Okay.
Uh,
So
I-
two Star Trek games.
Two Star,
coming-
oh yeah, plenty of Star Trek stuff happening right now, which is good. The world needs more Star Trek, but this one came out of nowhere for me because I really wasn't expecting a horror anything to have anything to do with Star Trek.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah,
if you
look-
say horror Star Trek, I just sit there going like, what?
Yeah, no, exactly. But to be fair, the scariest thing Star Trek ever did was its most popular movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got
So there we go. Oh, and it's Bloober Team, by the way.
Oh, if it's Bloomer, then I'm fucking in.
Yeah,
I'll
look
fucking
at
do
this shit. This looks
Yeah.
fucking frightening as fuck.
Yeah, this is the Silent Hill 2 remake, people. Like, this is gonna be good stuff.
Yeah. No. I'm very excited for this one. I'm excited for anything to have Star Trek in
Yeah.
it. But yes.
Nice.
Well, her shirt isn't red, but it could be when she starts. Maybe it's the one red shirt that survives.
All right, give me one more because I've got one to end on.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. Then we have a whole other part of the show to talk about.
So there were a few announcements in this showcase for around the same franchise, but I wanted to talk. Oh God, where is it? It's in here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. About Dave the Diver, The Jungle.
Yeah.
Because we got two different announcements. We got a spin-off from Dave the Diver, all about his sushi chef who, moves from the United States to Japan to learn how to make sushi. And then we got a whole different game that's an actual expansion to Dave the Diver. That's about them, going and getting ingredients for the restaurant from
What is Dave the Diver
a
for our
jungle.
audience?
So Dave the Diver. Dave the Diver is a video game in which you own a restaurant that serves sushi and you have an amazing chef, but you don't have any ingredients or any of that shit. So your background is diving. So you get on your boat and you go diving and you catch fish and you bring it back and he cooks it and you serve tea and beer at your restaurant while people eat sushi by night, and by day you dive and you catch fish. And that's Dave the Diver. It's very, very cute. Again, a lot like Moonlighter. A lot of do one thing and then do another thing, and one thing makes the other thing happen better. Man, it's a really good time. I know the art style might make it look like an independent game. This is not. This is a very highly budgeted and highly published game. And it's fantastic, and it should be supported despite its non-indie pedigree, because this is the type of stuff you want to see people make, because it's so creative and so interesting, and we're getting again, spin-offs of the entire franchise going on right now. Oh, also, Dave the Diver Into the Jungle released today.
Oh, there
Just-
you go.
Just FYI.
How exciting. All right, last game I'm going to talk about before we move on is a game that a lot of people in my little community are talking about, and that is called Vampire the Masquerade Eternal Whispers. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the game Disco Elysium, Disco Elysium was really fascinating because it was a game that was a single-player experience that effectively replicated what it was like to play a tabletop game. Like, it was a game where it was more interesting to lose than it was to win your roles when you did things. And for those of us playing the Austin Vampire LARP, that's the code that we run by. It's more interesting to lose than it is to win. And Vampire the Masquerade Vampire the Masquerade Eternal Whispers uses the exact same template that Disco Elysium does. You have a base set of stats, expect to lose on your rolls. Now, one of the more fascinating parts about this is that I'm not going to get into a whole lot of vampire lore here, but like most Vampire the Masquerade games, you're either playing as either the Camarilla or the Anarchs. These are two factions of vampires. This one seems to be teetering on playing with the third faction that's never been playable in a vampire game before, the Sabbat, which, funny enough, is the only game that Hector's ever played in.
Yep.
It looks really interesting. It is a CRPG. It's all about role play. It is all about your decisions. It is not a game in which you gotta like have the fastest reflexes to play it. The game wants you to sit there and think about every decision that you make while you are playing this game. Man, I hope that this is not only great, but this might get more people into Vampire the Masquerade. Because Vampire the Masquerade, story-wise, is in a really interesting place with 5th edition being out. I'm a part of several LARPs for 5th edition. Eternal Whispers looks fantastic. And I know that it's hard for some of the older games that are great, like Bloodlines, for people to get into. Maybe this is the one that will get more people into it, much the way that Baldur's Gate 3 got people into D&D. That's where I'm at.
Oh, yeah. Well.
All right, that covers everything, but not everything from Summer's Games Fest that we want to talk about. We still have a little bit more to talk about, though, as we begin to wind down the show in the epilogue.
Epilogue.
All right, it is the epilogue. It's time to dive into what we've been doing this week, what we've been playing, what we've been watching, what has been occupying our free time, and what has been making us happy. John, what have you been doing?
Well, as you guys know, I've been continually working pretty hard the last few weeks, trying to wrap up some work with several clients right now. So I've been dumbing myself down. I've been reading a lot of Simpsons Bongo comics, which are kind of fascinating in that the main Simpsons comic line tends to take more of a comic book route with things. Things become very sci-fi. The Bart Simpson comic line just becomes like mini stories, mini fictional reimaginings. And I think, James, you would actually like the Bart Simpsons Presents Treehouse of Horror, because it's basically Tales from the Crypt. It's like these little section stories, and they're all done by different artists and different writers. It's kind of fascinating. And the Futurama is funny as well. The one interesting thing I think I've seen, which you guys have also seen, is what is the movie called? Have Fun.
Good luck, have fun, don't die.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I thought was kind of intriguing, and this is, I guess, more of
Had
a
an awesome time watching that one.
yeah. I guess this is more of a teaser because I would like to have a deeper discussion with this next time when we actually have a guest teaser. But yeah, that's what I have been up to, and still trying to trim down, do dips, lift weights, blah blah
Dipsy.
blah.
Yeah. All right. Work out. We support each other for workout time.
Absolutely.
Hector, what have you been doing?
Oh man, so much. Let's see here. I have gotten into the indie game Mina the Hollower from Yacht Club Games, the geniuses behind Shovel Knight. And
Say that first name again.
Mina?
Mina, Mina, Mina the Hollower.
Ah.
She is a tunnel digger, therefore a hollower. She creates hollows. Beautiful little indie game. To quote my good friend Ross, they don't make them like this anymore. This is kind of a Zelda 2 like is the best way that I can put it. It's top down.
If I can,
Yeah.
just because like I grew up very specifically in this realm, it reminds me very much of both the third Zelda game, which is the one on the Game Boy, and Final Fantasy Adventure, which was actually a Secret of Mana game.
Yeah.
For the Game Boy. So very much same physics, same like weapons, everything.
Yeah. And man, has it been fun. I feel like every screen is a puzzle. I feel like everything I do in the game is not just me walking through the world and fighting enemies, but also like discovering new things about the world. I am very early on in the game and I'm having a great time just sitting around with it, like enjoying what I play. It feels huge when you're playing it, even though it is very, very small and very, very cool. Man, what a fun game. You get to play as Mina, and she is trying to discover why all of the power plants that her and her guild created have been turned off. And she's walking around trying to turn them back on while, some kind of angry separatist is like, no, it's doing bad things, burn them all down. And she's just trying to discover why. Wonderful game. Yacht Club Games has never missed. I can't see them doing so in the future. I can't wait to beat this game and then play it again with the other weapons that I can play it with, because not only is the game fun to play just because I'm discovering new things all the time, but it's actually pretty challenging. It really is. There is a bonfire system. There is a Estus flask system straight out of Souls, and the combat is difficult and interesting. There is no tutorial, none whatsoever. Not even the game doesn't even tell you where really to go, except through vague lines from characters in the game. And from the very beginning of the game, you can go north, south, east, or west from the town.
Oh, yeah, I heard there was like a difficult mirror puzzle that some people didn't get because you had to keep trying in order to succeed.
Oh, yeah. There's so and most of the mirrors in the game you can travel into, but all of the mirrors in the game are interconnected, and there's an expanding game-wide mirror puzzle that you will be solving eventually. But you could literally go through the whole game and never know it's there. You can go through the entire game and never know it's there. So cool stuff like that. Yeah, Mina the Hollower, can't get enough of it. Having an awesome time. My buddy Ross and I, and James will be joining us soon, are also going back through Space Marine 2, where we're gonna get into the PvE only missions finally. So we're having a good time doing
It
that.
is installed and ready to go.
Hell yeah, we're gonna play some
Ready
this
to
weekend.
purge some heretics.
Yeah, and it kills some heretics. Absolutely. And we've been watching some good stuff lately. James and I have seen a few movies we'll talk about. I need to talk about one on my own, but the first thing I'll talk about, because it ended very recently, and I will say absolutely no spoilers because I'm just barely over halfway through the show, but I have to talk a little bit about Widow's Bay.
The show I'm going to watch all of this weekend.
Yeah, so Widow's Bay is an Apple TV original series, and it is a horror series.
It's a horror comedy.
It is a horror series that is one of the funniest shows I've ever watched. And the reason it's funny is because it is horror, and they are doing horror. And the horror part is obvious, and over the top is a wrong word, but it is obvious. It is strictly what they're going for, and it is played incredibly straight. But so are all of the jokes. And it's very British humor. It's very subtle. It's very like, oh my God, two people, like why do these people talk to each other this way? And how stupid it is, like what is going on? But all of that in the context of this very creepy fucking show. I haven't seen a show this good in a long time, and I can't wait to finish it and talk about it with all my friends.
This is a show where various people throughout disparate corners of my life that have never talked to each other a day in their lives have all individually messaged me and gone, "This is a James show. You need to be watching this."
Yeah. Show is brilliant. It's absolutely masterful. All of the we were speaking recently about like directors that come from music videos. All the video that Patrick Williams put out recently, and this is another one. This is a Hiro Murai who did such amazing stuff as like most of the Childish Gambino videos, and Gold by Chet Faker, and went on to direct a lot of really other cool shit. And like this show, man, he's directing the shit out of it, and it looks so good, and the acting is good, and the sets are beautiful, and the tone is perfect. The soundtrack is perfect. This is just God. It's excellent fucking television. I'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
The other one I need to talk about is the movie The Furious.
Yes.
I had the opportunity to go to see this at a very late night showing at the Alamo Draft House because it was barely in any theaters at all. The Furious is a Hong Kong martial arts movie along with all of the greats. You could go back to Donnie Yen, but you can get into like a lot more of the Thai stuff. The big reference for this is like, what if the Raid and John Wick met? Like as franchises, and said, well, what if we like dip the peanut butter in the chocolate? And that's what you get here. So not only do you get a really compelling, really interesting story that's awesome to follow, full of non-stop balls to the wall martial arts stuff, but like all of the martial arts choreography is incredibly clearly shot. It's beautiful to look at. It's stuff you haven't seen before. There's a lot of grappling in this, but the grappling is somehow combined with a lot of kung fu. It's just so cool, so much fun, so many amazingly visceral fucking moments. Just beautiful the entire way through, and it's just a story of, you know, a man who is mute, cannot speak, and he speaks in sign language with his daughter, and she is kidnapped, and he needs to go and find her. And he's gonna do some fucking bad things to people to find her, and that is the movie.
Look, when James Gunn and Robert Cargill both talk about,
oh yeah,
you need to see this. Those are two directors I respect the most, and I'm like, oh, okay, I need to see this.
yeah, just absolute, yeah. The
I
trailer,
wish I could have gone with y'all to the movies this year.
dude. Yeah, it was. I never would have gone without you. It was just. Your next day was your first day of work.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't need to keep this guy out till all hours of the night so we can like go into work the next day. Because I'll tell you what, I got a little drunk in that theater. But man, what a movie. If you can see it in theaters, do. If not, you will lose nothing. Watch it whenever you can, however you can. I'm going to see this movie probably 100 times in my life. I can tell right now. Loved it.
All right. I know that we have a couple things we want to talk about together.
Mm-hmm.
I want to knock out some things just real fast for me. Let's see here. Like you just said, I started a new job. That's what's been making me happy.
Yay.
Hell yeah.
So I am gainfully employed again. That's fantastic. Looking forward to what that's going to mean for me in the future.
Ah, yeah.
Because of that, night times have been kind of stressful. With a lot of stuff going on, so I've been rewatching the Harley Quinn animated show to de-stress. Hector and I are working on a super secret project that we can't talk about, but I needed to mention it because it is occupying a lot of my time. And hopefully a few months into the future, we will be able to talk about what that super secret project is.
Yeah.
I got to guest star on the fantastic podcast Metal Geeks, available on Spotify. Where we cover a lot of the stuff that we talked about this episode about Summer Game Fest. Thank you very much, Carrie, for having me on and having me record that. That's everything that's like general in my life. Hector, let's talk about the things that we need to talk about for stuff we have done together.
All right, so the first one we'll talk about is one that John can even get in on, and that is last night we saw Project Hail Mary.
Yes, we did.
Man, what a good movie.
And nobody, let me ask, how cold were you guys?
Oh, going in?
Going in.
No, I knew almost literally nothing. I am a
nothing.
trailer avoider.
Yeah.
Very much a trailer avoider. So there, just about none of this movie was spoiled for me. When I
I also never saw The Martian, so I didn't know the writer's previous work.
See, I saw and loved The Martian. I've seen it several times.
I read the book before I saw the movie, and I like the movie. The book's incredible.
Yeah. So when I went into this, I thought, oh, just another strategic scientific puzzle solver. Okay, cool. And when, how are we allowed to say what the plot is?
I mean, the plot we
guess
can
so.
say.
Yeah. We
Okay.
shouldn't spoil the ending, but yeah, let's do the
yeah,
plot.
there's a literal, like when another object in space approaches his spaceship, my mind immediately went to like interstellar logic of, oh, this is like humanity's future, saving humanity's past. And, like I started doing all these fucking logistical tumbles, and then he goes into the new object and alien.
Yeah.
Fucking alien.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
an actual factual alien.
What John's kind of avoiding here is the basic premise of this is
Oh, yeah.
for a reason our sun is dying,
Right.
and some people get sent into space to find an answer for it, and everybody but the scientist dies. And most of the movie is Ryan Gosling in our first encounter with an alien in the history of ever, trying to figure out A, how to talk to each other, and then B, how do we save our respective suns?
And let me point out really quick that for space nerds, and going to the magnet high school I did, I couldn't help but be one. According to Fermi's paradox and the Drake equation, no matter how many alien species are out there in all of the universe, and even in our own galaxy, it is so incredibly unlikely that us as a species will meet one before we completely die off that it's almost zero.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
only reason we would ever meet another alien species is if we both needed to be in the same place for some reason.
at the same time, because it's a Christmas tree problem.
Yeah.
There was and will be life, but the odds that any of that life, especially sentient life, happens to be in the same proximity as other sentient life at the exact same sliver of fucking time, not happening, not ever going to happen.
Yeah.
Stop investing in shit like SpaceX because of their shitty IPO to send consciousness to the internet. It's bullshit.
Yeah,
Total bullshit.
Please don't buy any SpaceX stock. That's free advice from
Yes.
us to y'all. But yeah, that's what I loved about this is because it's like this. This is why, for any reason at all, we might encounter another species. And I love how fucking weird it is. I'm not even going to spoil what it is. I love how interesting it is. Oh man, and
I
the way
smiled
that-
and cried. That's the only
yeah,
fucking
yeah. The
review
way you learn to
need.
communicate, you smile, you cry. Ryan
Like at
Gosling
3
carries
points,
the
right? You
entire-
cried like 3
Oh
times.
yeah, oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Ryan Gosling just hoists this movie onto his back and skips around.
Yeah.
And it's just like the movie is incredible and light and wonderful and scary
The
and
alien
heartfelt
is so
and
good.
beautiful, and he interacts so well with this alien and like
And even the
'cause-
side characters, like the guy from The Bear.
Legitimately,
Oh, yeah.
this is a movie that is 2 hours of Ryan Gosling interacting with a physical puppet, and you will laugh, and you will cry, and you will hug your pillow,
Mhm.
and you will fucking have a great time.
Yeah. Do watch this one. There's a reason they couldn't get it out of theaters.
Yeah.
Word of mouth just kept spreading and spreading and spreading. And this movie, it was practically viral. It went from like, yeah, we're going to do a showing to like, oh, well, this movie has been in theaters for like 3 months.
Which never happens anymore.
Never happened. That hasn't happened to a movie since like the 90s, as far as I
Yeah.
know. What, Titanic?
Yeah.
like,
Well, just give Mandalorian Grogu a couple more months, guys.
Bro, it's already
I
out.
think it's that movie's been gone, I think.
All right, Hector, how do we wind this whole thing
We
down?
wind it down with Prince Adam,
We do.
don't we?
We do.
Yeah.
For our audience that is unfamiliar with my history, I am very much a child of the 80s. I am somebody who was raised on He-Man,
On toy commercials in general.
on toy commercials
Yeah,
in
for
general.
sure.
As my mother reminds me, because I didn't remember this until recently, we were talking about it. My mother reminded me that as a child, if I could spend the week being a good boy, every Friday I would get a new Masters of the Universe toy.
Mm.
So I was, in fact, the best boy, and I had a very large collection of Masters of the Universe action figures. I am obsessed with this series. Also, by the way, if you're unfamiliar with the cartoon, Lovecraft stuff is actually in the cartoon, which was probably my first exposure to Lovecraft things. Yeah, this movie I can't talk about and not be biased, so I want Hector to start the conversation.
Right. So, the best way I can describe this as someone who was definitely He-Man fan adjacent as a child, like I liked He-Man. I was a Ninja Turtles kid, but
Let's be clear. None of us were born in the 70s, right?
No.
Okay, so none of us have a conscious memory of live new episodes of He-Man,
No,
right?
Okay,
absolutely
first
not.
off,
It was-
John, I need you to dial that back for a second. I was alive when those episodes were being aired, and it was not the 70s, it was the 80s.
Yeah, but I'm saying I was like 3 years old, I think, when the last episode.
Sure, yeah, me too, but I have a very clear memory of being a child and watching those things.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, once they were syndicated, once they were Saturday morning cartoons, you couldn't get away from them.
Yeah.
like they were everywhere.
My
I was
parents were
watching-
buying the toys for me as they were coming out.
Yeah. And I remember watching He-Man cartoons right next to like Conan the Barbarian cartoons and like not Power Rangers. What am I thinking of?
Popples.
Captain Planet.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. You'd get a He-Man cartoon in there. Then next to my G.I. Joes in the morning. You know, like it was good stuff.
It was just on syndication.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Right next to those toy commercials, where I could get the Battle Cat and the Skeletor Castle, or I could get a Planeteer ring that didn't fit or do anything. You know, and I remember having He-Man toys just because the adults in my life knew I liked toys but didn't know what kind. But you know what? Always happy with a He-Man toy, so yeah, bring it in. It goes great right next to the, alien toy or whatever.
That's true. We had those too.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So this movie, I expected literally nothing from this movie. I was hoping it would be good. My only tie to it was that I have an absolute forever fondness for Camila Mendes. Her work on Riverdale made me forever fall in love with the type of actor that she is, with how enthusiastic she is for her projects.
She's one of the reasons they actually had so many musical episodes.
Yeah, how much fun she looks like she's having in every episode. Just, and considering how much power those kids had over the show towards the end of it, where she would be like, oh, okay, so I get to own my own speakeasy under Pop's Chocolate Shop. Cool, I need a stage down there, and we're doing all that jazz.
Yep.
Like that, yeah, Camila Mendes, forever, yeah, like my heart, absolutely. And so knowing that she was going to be, and this is my reference point, by the way, for He-Man, my strongest one, the chick with the headband from Masters of the Universe. Because I didn't
movie.
really know any of the characters' names. I was like, yeah, no, of course I'm in. But we get there and we get, young Adam, on the planet, trying to live up to what he thinks his father expects of him. We get an incredible opening performance from Idris Elba. And we get introduced to a fucking excellent Skeletor, played by an actor who we don't even have to talk about because he's not in the movie. But man, Skeletor is great in this movie.
Yeah.
Just good Skeletor.
Skeletor was
Yeah.
the first villain that I grew up with that made me fall in love with villains. And to try and replicate that, and again, the only other time it's been replicated was in the 1980s Master of the Universe movie.
Yeah.
Which
Frank Langella
most of that
treating
movie,
it like Shakespeare.
Most of that movie can be bad, and I'm saying that for everybody else. I fucking love that movie. But yeah, Frank Langella treated that script like it was Shakespeare. To this day, he still says it's one of his favorite performances. And to the idea of somebody trying to live up to that version of Skeletor was insane.
But
and
to-
he who shall not be named was voicing this character, and you can't even tell it's him.
Nope, heavily processed.
He was never in any of the. So if you actually go on the like Instagram stuff for like all the press tour, you'll notice that everybody that was in this movie hangs out together. They dance together. They have a good time, except for he who shall not be named, because he still acted like he who shall not be named.
Right.
And they wanted nothing to fucking do with him.
Yeah, he didn't need to be there.
To-
You need a guy wearing makeup, saying lines in ADR.
To be clear, nobody has ever tried to do the Skeletor voice from the cartoon
No,
in
that
live
would be
action
insane.
form.
That would
Okay.
not translate to live
Okay.
action.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that would be. It would be like.
But he still does the funny puns. That's the thing.
No.
Is
He's
that-
he's still a little shit.
Yeah.
He
Huh.
is still very much a like, oh, you have no honor, and then like stabs you in the ass, and it's like,
Huh.
well, you have no honor, and he's like, of course I don't, dipshit.
Huh.
And stabs you again.
He literally uses like musclehead, bonehead. He makes sexual comments about He-Man's thighs.
Yeah.
Happy Pride, by the way, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's so good. It's so over the. It does this thing where it takes the over the top moments so over the top that it works, but it also takes the heartfelt moments so heartfelt that it works, which means when they do the serious moments, they take it seriously and it works. And somehow all of those individual pieces, it makes for like, I don't know, like one of the best movies I've ever seen. And I'm biased, hand to God, I'm biased. But
So to me, this movie landed right where good James Gunn movies land, and he had nothing to do with the project, of course. But like this, if anyone was going to copy that formula and do it well, that was this. You had an absolutely amazing soundtrack, not born out of some idiot's taste in music who thinks like every music choice needs to be literal, but out of someone who like knew the property.
they got the guitarist from Queen to actually make the theme for a movie. And I want to say this: when was the last time you watched a movie that had its own theme?
Oh,
Not
yeah.
a generic song, like the theme that says the name of the movie in the thing. They got the guitarist from Queen that is like barely still alive to come in and write a theme to a movie.
Maybe this will get every frame of painting out of retirement.
Man, just what a fun movie. Again, the soundtrack fully aware of every meme we've ever had about He-Man.
All of them.
Going all the way back to the late 90s and the early internet and all the way to modern day. I'm surprised there wasn't a scene where Skeletor said something fucked up and ran out of the room yelling, "Catch me next time."
Right.
Like, straight
That's
up.
how on the nose it was.
It was so on the nose. We got
You got the Four Non Blondes reference.
yeah, we got what's going on. We got all of it. We got all of it. We got
two
the-
Highlander jokes.
Oh yeah, two Highlander jokes in a world where we're about to get a Highlander movie. Like come on. We got the synth that feels like it's getting played right off the fucking key from the first movie. Like just
There are jokes about the names of the characters.
because they're all terrible, and that's what's fun. The joke is that that young Adam didn't know anyone's name, so he was just calling them what they looked like. But that's true. That's what all these characters are named like. Is this guy has one big fist? Fisto, yeah, Fisto. Do we really have
Ram
to call,
Man.
Do we have to call him Fisto? Ram Man? What the? You think my name's Ram Man?
It is funny and it's wholesome and
Yeah.
also not wholesome. And
Oh yeah, sometimes very not wholesome.
There's a lot of fisting jokes in this movie.
The action is very fun.
Yeah. I'm biased. I gave this one of the rare 5 stars on Letterboxd because I am a He-Man junkie. And this was a movie that was so good that it made me want to watch one of the director's other movies, which is from a franchise I don't watch anymore, which is the Transformers franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So the Michael Bay Transformers movies basically suck. But Travis, I can't remember his last name.
Those movies, by the way.
Who made this Masters of the Universe movie, made recently the Bumblebee movie.
Oh, that's a good one.
And all I've heard about that movie was this feels wholesome and genuine and respects the source material. It's not Devastator's balls on the screen. It treats the cartoon with the love and care and attention. I don't want to spoil a bunch of Masters of the Universe if you haven't seen it, but I'll put I want to put it this way. If you see this movie and you've watched the cartoon growing up, you know that every episode of the cartoon ends with a lesson at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I will not spoil who shows up to tell you the lesson. They do it. They legitimately do that scene.
What did we learn today?
Yeah, and then they do 2 more extra like endings during the credits.
There are a lot of end credit scenes in this movie.
There are 3 total.
Well, I guess that does beg the question, like are we the only people that this movie could have been for if we still remembered? Which I own
I
the toys.
love that you asked that question, John. I love that you asked that question, John, because we took somebody with us to the movies who's a friend of ours that had no idea what the fuck He-Man was.
Ah.
And she walked out of that movie going, I fucking loved that.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
So there we go.
And that would have been my answer as well, is like, yeah, you know what? All of the inside jokes, all the meme jokes and the needle drops, those, yeah, they probably aren't for people outside of our very specific age demographic. That being said, if I had a little one and I took him to that movie, it'd be his favorite movie.
Yeah.
And
you know what,
he'd have that shit on repeat, and he would grow up with a fucking He-Man thing.
Yeah, and seriously, like they do the adult, quote unquote, adult joke so well in the kind of Animaniac style.
Yeah.
Where to us we're like, oh my god, that's an adult joke, but like to a kid, they wouldn't know what a.
No, and even the Fisto joke is very much like Fisto. That's a stupid name for a guy with a big hand. You can be more creative than that.
Yeah.
Haha, that's a funny joke. And we're like, Fisto.
Right, like yeah, it absolutely fantastic. One of the highlights of my year. One of the highest praises I can give to a movie, and I give this to Project Hail Mary as well, is just I'm just smiling the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And God, man, Master of the Universe, the fact that they just took it as seriously but not seriously as they
Right.
did.
It's just respect is all it is.
Yeah.
Right. It's we want it to be what it's supposed to be.
There's something that the director said when he was on the press tour for this movie, and he almost said the exact same thing verbatim when he was on the Bumblebee tour, which was, I never wanted to make a movie based on a franchise that I loved growing up in a cynical fashion.
Right.
I want to honor what that thing was that I loved growing up, and that means the light parts, the dark parts, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I wanted other people to see it the way that I saw it as a kid.
Yeah.
And I feel like he did that
Nailed
so
it.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's good for the few of us. I mean, like, when did the first Transformers come out? 2006 or 7?
Oh,
The Michael Bay.
Yeah.
the ILM ones?
Yeah, like that show ended like 4 or 5 years after He-Man. The first movie came out like 15 years ago. This is like flatlining on arrival.
No, I mean,
Like-
yeah.
That's
No,
The audience
we,
is like-
we need to have. We're going to table that discussion for next week when next podcast, because there's a lot of information coming out about the way that this movie is being reviewed.
Yeah, that in the box office, because
Yeah.
it did not, as far as we know, like hit the box office very hard.
How? Yeah.
Right, but we will talk about that because Amazon, who were one of the backers of the movie, have come out and said a couple things about that. But that's a preview for next time.
Yeah, it is.
Teaser.
So that's everything that we have for show this week. Don't forget that you can head over to goodnight.gg to become a patron of our show. You can head over to facebook.com/GNGGcast where you can chat with us, as well as at GNGGcast on Twitter and goodnight.gg on Blue Sky to talk to me directly. Thank you to our patrons for helping us with the Tales from the Crypt episodes.
Thank you.
Abby was our sponsor for the week.
Thank you, Abby.
Thank you, Abby.
Providing food and booze for the podcast. We appreciate that. All right. But until next time, for Hector, this is James.
And for James, this is Hector.
For you, this is me.
Everyone, good night.
And good journey.
All right. Thank you all
That's
for joining us.
Fucking smooth there, bro.
Yeah.
Slipping the fucking He-Man reference in.
You gotta.
Very nice.
All right, kids. I am killing the stream. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you all so much. We are going to go start to wind down because I'm a working man now.
Yay.
Working man.